Sit back and relax as today's program guides you through all things pop culture and the deepest corners of the internet. Warning, may cause brain rot.
Hello, Brain Rotters. It's me, your host, Maya, and we're back again for yet another episode of Brain Rot. I'm so excited to get into it today with you guys. It is cold, bitter January weather here in Toronto. Negative like 20 something feels like. So crisp. I can feel the boogers in my nostrils freezing with every inhale. It's absolutely atrocious. But I want to really get into things today. I want to talk about a bunch of different topics. I want to talk about what's happening currently right now in the world and stuff a little bit. I also like pop culture wise. I also want to talk about a film I recently saw with my sister literally last night called Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman. Oh my God, salacious, amazing, funny. We'll get into it. And then I also wanted to kind of make the theme of today's podcast episode how to have the perfect night out or Maya's perfect night out, because it's no secret, I'm at the end of my 20s and I've had my fair share of fun nights out throughout my 20s. I have been around the block when it comes to different events and social gatherings and just different, parties and themes and things. And I definitely have my list of prerequisites in order to really enjoy yourself, because I'm at that stage where I don't want to waste time anymore. I don't want to spend even 1 hour doing something I'm not enjoying. So I feel like I have this like foolproof list of how to guarantee a good night out. Will it always happen every single time? No, no, no. And we all have obligations to people and to commitments and things that we cannot avoid. So you're not always going to have the options to have the perfect night out. But I think if you do follow my plan, it will be foolproof. And we're just going to go through experiences, like what my best going out experiences are versus my worst, and the faux pas of how you can contribute to other people's fabulous night out, because some of us are downtown city girls and we just want to have fun. Alani Nu just sent me a new package of energy drinks, and I'm going to try this flavor for the first time on camera with you guys for our Brain Rot booze segment. Obviously, no booze in here, but it is loaded with caffeine, and it is sugar-free, I believe, only 10 calories. So let's give it a go. This one is called Orange Kiss. They've got like a flamingo on the can. It's super cute. As always, I love their branding. I think it's adorable. And I do actually like to make little Alani teenies for my nights out when I am having friends over and we need that energy boost. And I just don't feel like having coffee again. Coffee is very, what's the word? Laxative. Damn, that's good. Very orangey, very orange flavored. It's giving like Orange Crush. I think this might be one of my new favorites. I love their Dream Float one too. That one tasted like orange creamsicle to me. And this one just tastes like sunshine in a can. These are addicting. So addicting. ASMR. So let's get into it. Right now, we are on the precipice of TikTok having just come back after being taken down for all but 12 hours. I don't know what you guys think about it. I want to hear your conspiracy theories, but for me, I think it definitely seems like a ploy to show Donald Trump and the Republicans in a good light. He originally was part of the, people that were campaigning to remove TikTok and censor it because of its affiliation with China. And that was proposed back in, I want to say like 2020 probably. And he wanted to spearhead that movement with his government. And now that Joe Biden has followed through with it, and the Senate or whatever their legislative process is, has actually gone through with the ban, he is now being cited as the person who's going to save TikTok because of his administration coming back into power. So it really makes no sense. And even TikTok, they voluntarily took down their platform for several hours and brought it back, all claiming that they were going to be working with the Trump administration to restore it and that he restored their faith in the platform. So it sounds like craziness, right? Like absolute bonkers. I already feel like TikTok's a sinking ship, and so I'm totally done. I've abandoned ship. I deleted the app. I think it's so toxic. I think I scroll for hours and hours, doom scroll. I started doing that when I was recovering from surgery because I was stuck in bed all day and I had nothing better to do, and I wanted to be connected to people and connected to people doing things, right? So TikTok was the way to go for me for that. But I definitely see that it has so many negative attributes. We don't know what they're doing with our information, as we don't know for most platforms, including Meta and even YouTube, even here, even on podcast platforms, who knows? But TikTok seemed to be the worst of it, especially with algorithms. And so I'm like not team TikTok. I'm just bored of it. I'm over it. And I've moved on personally. I'm pouring all of my time into just Instagram and YouTube, and that's it. That's where I've set my hardline walls. I don't know how you guys feel about TikTok, but for me, I think it's already kind of a sinking ship. I don't understand how they could propose the ban and then repeal it if none of the conditions are being met, you know? Like what? We're going to restore it because Donald Trump says so? Like it makes no sense to me. So we need a lot of more backstory on that, I think. I think there's more going on beneath the surface than what we truly know. I know a lot of people think that it's a misguided attempt to pull the spotlight away from more pressing concerns. But the reality is, like, regardless of whether or not TikTok is pulling attention from more pressing concerns, it could very well be a security concern for us all. We don't have all the information. So I think there needs to be a lot more transparency with that. Another quick thing I just wanted to gloss over is the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively updates. As you know, I was always kind of like wishy-washy about it, and I always was kind of like, well, I've been such like a Blake Lively stan for a long time. I love a lot of her films, and I loved Gossip Girl, and I just loved the energy that she would bring to red carpets and things and the Met Gala. And so I was kind of like disappointed to be seeing all these negative things about her and whatnot. But that being said, I just feel like the lawsuit is so insane at this point. Like even Justin Baldoni is like suing for $400 million now, the 200-page document. They keep going back and forth with their threats. It seems like a lot of empty threats and a lot of just like peacocking at this point. They're both like rich and famous and the 1%. And I just feel like we're all tired of hearing about it. Am I right? We're all just like, we don't even care anymore. I hope that it gets resolved in court and that justice is served. But other than that, I'm stepping back. I don't care. Figure out your issues and stop involving the press. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I think it's not really warranted at this point in time. And yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Now, last night I went to see Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman. They are having a $5 movie special at my Scotiabank Theater, which is downtown Toronto. And if you guys don't know, it is probably the biggest theater in Toronto, I want to say. You have to take this long, super high up escalator that feels like you're going into outer space. And you get your little cherry Coke and, delicious popcorn. It was on for $5 too, which is still kind of expensive in my opinion. Popcorn takes like 10 cents to make because it's literally just kernels that you pop, but whatever. I digress. I knew this was going to be a sexual movie, but I was not expecting it to open with Nicole Kidman simulating an orgasm. It was absolutely unhinged. I loved the movie. I thought it was insane and bonkers. I thought it was a lot more artsy than I was expecting. The camera shots were very dark and brooding. The music was very atmospheric and experimental. Lots of like sexual noises were like worked into the soundtrack, so you never really quite knew what you were hearing and what was diegetic and non-diegetic sound throughout the film. And so there was a lot of like like that kind of vibe, like almost like tribal, sexual, human energy. The musk was just pouring off. But it was just like one of those crazy experiences. And Emma and I were sitting in the theater trying not to laugh out loud and scream like hyenas. And I hate when people take movies too seriously. There were so many couples in the theater too. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck are they doing? But regardless, we were just like cackling like hyenas, like all the orgasm noises that Nicole Kidman made throughout the movie. Like, there is no way in hell she watched this after she made it. Fabulous actress, of course, but just the dynamic. And like, I guess this film is a little bit different because I would classify it personally as a cougar film. And that's like a new rising genre, I would say. And I'm totally on board and a fan of cougar films. I would also put this in the same category as, the one with Anne Hathaway, where she was with a basically One Direction inspired boy band member. That was a good film that I loved as well. There was also one I recently watched called A Lonely Planet with Laura Dern and Liam Hemsworth. Why did that not make more airwaves? What kind of coupling is that? Laura Dern, Liam Hemsworth on on what planet? A lonely planet, apparently. And that one was hilarious too. Like we just seeing like these older, wizened women having these like flirtations with these young bucks. I die every time. Like it's so funny. And I think like it's so normalized the other way, like with men, to the point where it's not even going to be the premise of a movie because people are like, oh, that's just normal. That's just the way things are, Older CEO man and a 20-year-old wife. That's normal. Welcome to normalcy. But we can make a whole entire genre and movie when the woman just happens to be older than the man. It's kind of funny. But it obviously goes both ways in terms of power and like creepiness and whatever. But at the same time, it can be a little bit fun to watch the dynamics unfold. And there were certain scenes at the beginning of Baby Girl where I was so entranced and so gagged. One of them was when Nicole Kidman's character and the young man were like hooking up in a hotel room for the first time. And I don't know if this is something I'm making up, but I'm pretty sure I read that he was breaking character and laughing when he was delivering his lines because he couldn't take it seriously because he was saying such things to an older woman, Nicole Kidman, who's like an iconic Hollywood actress. And he was saying things in this scene to her, like starting out as her intern at her huge corporation that she's the CEO of. He was saying, get on your knees, take your clothes off, do this. And he was like laughing after he said the lines. And it read to me like he was trying not to laugh because he was like almost covering his face. And I thought they kept like the bloopers in. Like that was the vibe. And so I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they would admit to that or if I'm just like reading into that too much and that's just like the effect they wanted and like that's what they were going for. I'm not sure. But I definitely recommend you check it out if you like some of those more sexual arty films. It was so good. I loved it. I didn't love the ending, not going to spoil it, but overall it was an experience. The theater was jam-packed. I've never seen a theater that full in so many years. I feel like since like Harry Potter came out or something. It was crazy, or Twilight or something. It was wacko, but I loved it and it was so funny. As you know, I'm like off the dating apps and taking a break from any kind of intimacy in that way. And so watching something like this, I'm like, you know what? Maybe when I'm Nicole Kidman's age, I'll have a fling like that. Jokes, jokes, jokes. Now, let's get into the segment of today's podcast where we talk about the perfect night out. Many, many times throughout my 20s, I have gone out to bars, to clubs, to events, to so many different things. And I feel like I've had the full gamut of experiences. I've had times where I've gone out and been so annoyed with people that I told myself in my head, I'm never going out with them again. I've had times where I've gone out and you're dancing with your friends and the live music is playing and the lights are going and you have the perfect buzz and you're thinking to yourself in that moment, this is what life is all about. It is soul enriching. It is bond creating. It is a night to remember. And so you can get the full spread of different experiences. I have friends that say they absolutely do not like going out and that's not their thing. And I can't relate to that. But I also think, okay, well, maybe they're not ensuring that they're having the best quality night out and they're not experiencing things the way that they should want to experience them. And so even if my perfect night out wouldn't necessarily be your perfect night out, I hope it inspires you to have some introspection and to really dig deep and figure out what it is that you would desire from a night out or any other circumstance in your life to ensure that you can have your most enjoyment. Because I think if we're reflecting on what brings us happiness, then we're making greater awareness towards how we can achieve more longevity with happiness in so many different aspects of life. But not to get too deep on that, let's get to the party rules. Let's start with the pregame. It always starts with the pregame. Now, for me, the pregame is the pre-party before you go to the main event, which could be a concert or it could be a bar or a club or whatever you're doing with your friends. But for this sake, I'm going to say we're doing a bar/club night. And a pregame to me should always start earliest around 8 p.m., I would say. People are still doing their makeup, getting dolled up, deciding their outfits. And so you want to have like a sweet spot. So I would say arrivals between 8 p.m. to, I want to say, latest, absolute latest, 10 p.m. And if you're arriving at 10 p.m., you have to know that you really only have like an hour, maybe an hour and a half of time to enjoy the pregame. And the pregame has to be worth it, right? So it has to be something you're excited to go to. Sometimes the pregame is the best part of the night because once you leave your friend's house or you're the one hosting, you leave your house, you can't always control the way that the night's going to go. But you guys can control as a friend group the environment that you create before you go out. Now, arrive between that respectful window of time, and you can also bring something if you want. It depends what kind of pregame it is. But I have a few more rules for the host. Now, the host shouldn't always be the host, but it can be helpful if the host is closer to the event you're going to, or if they just have a nice space to host in. But you should always have something to offer your guests if you're hosting the pregame. That's like part of the etiquette, especially like now that I'm in my like late 20s. I feel like you need to offer something that's going to make the pregame special and make you guys feel bougie and nice before you go out, because it's going to remind you guys of what you deserve. You deserve this. You do it for each other. And if you do end up finding a man or meeting someone, they better meet this standard, right? And so you should have some kind of like nice cocktail you're offering or some bites to eat. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? And you shouldn't always be the one who's hosting. It should rotate as well between your friend group so that, it's easier for you to justify like going out and buying a bottle and creating a cocktail for your friends. Like sometimes I'll do a nice sangria. I've done that before, like a peach sangria with white wine and some mint in it and brandy, whatever. Like I'll put together a nice little spread and then some like snacks, some finger foods, just light bites to eat. You always need the dance of alcohol and food so that you don't get too wasted. And then I will say you always need a bottle on hand to do shots. Now you can ask one of your friends to bring one if you've already like done the whole cocktail mix and you've already like put together whatever niblets you're having. It's fine if a friend brings a bottle and you do shots from that before you leave. Because sometimes when you're like in a quick rush, it's good to have shots and you know that you're going to have a little bit of a buzz, even lasting while you get to the venue, because we don't want to be shelling out all of our cash at the bar, especially as women. Like, it's already like sometimes an intimidating space to be in. So having to buy drinks is a no-go. That's just a no-go for me. It's not going to work. I will maybe buy like one round of shots or one drink if I go out, but then that's my limit. I'm like, no, if a guy's not going to buy me drinks or I don't know someone at the venue, it's just not worth it. I'm not going to be blowing all my money as a woman going out. It's just not the way it's going to work. Call me old fashioned, but I'm not going to have a good night if I'm spending $100 on drinks at the bar. No, I'm not. I'm going to be bitter and in a bad mood about it. So I just feel like you have to set those boundaries for yourself and know what you're getting into. And also, I'm happy to drink more at the pregame and just nurse something while I'm out in a classy kind of way, right? I'm not going out to the bar to slam back shots and get wasted and make a fool of myself. So that's why I will oftentimes also decline shots when I go out, because I also don't have access to food and I just want to stay within my limit, have my buzz, and have a fun time and let it just make me more loosey-goosey and confident than what I would normally be and just like have fun. So the pregame also needs to have good music. Just ask your friends, like if they have any song requests, what kind of vibe they're going for, and then create a mix. It's always good to have a mix ahead of time, and that way everyone's tastes get, heard, and you can have fun and just vibe together. Another really important thing about pregame is lighting. You want a dimmer light. You want to create like the pre-going out atmosphere. You want to feel on top of the world with your girls. You want to have your nice drinks, your music, your little niblets, and the lighting to be good, so you guys can gossip, chat, laugh, and talk about how much fun you're going to have. And also talk about your outfits and your makeup and like what kind of looks you're going for. That's another really fun aspect of going out. Nothing's more fun than feeling like, your own personal celebrity, your own personal moment. You put together your hair, your outfit, your makeup. You have your own fashion runway vibe. Now, I will say one of the faux pas of going out is when you are not feeling confident in your outfit and you make everyone aware of that and you drag down the night. I've been in situations like that before, and I've been the person who like felt like shit, like, oh my God, like my slick back looks disgusting. I'm not curvy enough to be wearing this certain outfit. I feel like I'm built like a wrestler. And you're like struggling to not have those dysphoric thoughts or the body dysmorphia, or you're struggling with your self image in that moment. So you need to reassess. You need to figure out something that's your tried and true and what you're comfortable in and switch into that, or just like reassess your moment, because you cannot allow yourself to look and feel that way and then bring down the mood and the vibe of the going out process, because everyone can tell if you're feeling like shit about the way you look. And you need to forget that, pack that up, and leave it behind, because the more happy and confident and supportive you are of everyone else who's going out too, the more that you will just look and radiate gorgeousness yourself. And so you don't want to have those inhibitions in your mind, and you just want to make sure that you have something you're confident in and feel your best for sure. 100%. Do not rush. Get ready with a lot of time to spare. I think one of my like biggest pet peeves is when I am hosting and then I don't leave enough time to get ready myself. So I rush my makeup and my hair, and then I feel like I look kind of botched, and then I'm hosting and I'm sweating and I don't look my best, and I feel like I'm like stretched too thin. So just prepare everything well ahead of time, and then that way you can look like the hostess with the mostest who doesn't even have to try. So just time management is so important with that. If you're the one who hosted the pregame, then you should not be the one to call the Uber to the venue. Your friends should be like, oh, we're calling Ubers, just come in ours, you know? I feel like it's a dance, right? Obviously, you can be the one to call the Uber if, no one else is hinting at it, but just like make a mental note and be like, who's like reciprocating the energy here, and who is just like playing dumb and just along for the free ride for every step of the way and never like contributing to the group, because those people end up being dead weights to the group over time. Even if they bring something fun and spicy, it's like everyone has to contribute on some level, and you can't just have one person paying for everything, right? But yeah, so that's my vibe with that. And then when you're in an Uber, you also want to make sure that you are getting the aux cord or the Bluetooth or whatever it is that this car has, because you need the vibes to continue in the Uber. You need the music. You need things to be fun. The Uber is like part of the experience, right? People aren't out here driving Ubers on a Saturday or Friday night. And they're not out here driving them, not going to be cooperative with like the kind of vibes you're going for, right? Like they know they're driving you somewhere to a venue to go out, to have fun. So they should never decline, right? So don't ever feel like self-conscious asking for the aux cord. And it's just so awkward if you are a group of friends going out and you have to sit and listen to, Joe Blow play like some like quiet, sad jazz music while you're about to go to the club. Like, no, vibe killer, like blast your favorite tunes, laugh, joke, and have fun in the Uber. It's all part of the experience. Now, for venues, when you're going out, you really want to plan where you're going ahead of time. Be very type A in these moments, because some of my worst nights out are when we have no idea where to go and we end up lining up in the cold and it just doesn't work out. We get inside, we realize they were baiting other people to come into the venue and holding us in line extra long so that the place looked busier, because when we walked inside, crickets, tumbleweed, literal ghouls crawling out of the basement, and no one else in the vicinity. So nowhere's cute, know what's up, and know what the vibe is. Like if you're going out with a bunch of single girls, you probably want to go somewhere where you're going to get a good mix of people. You don't want to just like end up somewhere, very dingy and gross with like weird people, ever really. Or maybe you want to go to a drag show, or you want to go to El Convento, or, cruise and tangos and like have fun and have one of those nights. Just know what your goals are, just figure it out with the group. Now, another thing is it's always a benefit if you have someone in the group, or you yourself know someone at a venue, or a bouncer or someone, because the experience is always 10 times better when you have access to the venue in ways other people don't always have access. You just feel like you're getting the VIP treatment, and it's good for networking and also just like having a more seamless experience. People not ripping you off. And that can even just mean like knowing that there's a place that just lets girls in immediately, So that can always be a big difference in my opinion and can just like really make or break the night. Cause some of my like most worst nights are the ones where you like spent the longest waiting and have the littlest to show for it. And it's just not the vibe. I have another going out faux pas. Never make going out about finding a guy. Finding a guy should be like considered to be just a bonus. The goal for you going out is just to go out with your friends, dance to good music, and meet cool people. Like I've met girls from going out and we follow each other on Instagram to this day and like send each other likes and things like that. And I think that's so cute and fun. Like I'm all about making friends and meeting people and just being social and having fun and becoming a part of like the Toronto nightlife community. I think that's so cool and fun. If you happen to get hit on by a hot guy or you hit on a hot guy and like things spice up or whatever, that's just a bonus. No one likes going out with someone who runs from the friend group, searches for a man the whole night, acts really upset or bitter if like a guy doesn't like them back. Like, do not give a fuck, you know? Like, you have to make the night about you having fun, feeling hot, and just living your best life. If you put your validation and your personal happiness on to some random guy at a bar in a dimly lit, dingy place, you're never going to have a good night, you know? And so that just always really, I don't know, grinds my gears. I've done that before. I've been in those desperate moments where I just wanted validation. I wanted someone to like tell me I'm hot and hit on me. We all have, you know, it's just part of going out and like being in your 20s and like feeling things out. But at this point in my life, like late 20s, you know, you don't want to go out with people that are just going to ditch you for someone unless it's like 100% disclosed beforehand and you're with a big friend group and you can kind of like veer off to someone. Like you don't want to be that person, you know? I feel like we're all about lifting each other up, and like I will always be supportive if someone like wants to go be with a guy for sure, but I'm more so talking about allowing like whether or not a guy hits on you to make or break your night. Like that shouldn't be the deciding factor. Like of course there could be the bonus of it and like it's like part of nightlife, which is honestly kind of weird too. Like a lot of people, when you think about it, that do go clubbing and go out to bars, a lot of them are just looking for a casual moment with someone else. And that's part of the reason why they go out, you know? So many guys are like that too, and so many women. And so it's just a part of nightlife. But it shouldn't be your make or break part because then I feel like you're going out for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. Like, I think at this point in time, the best reason to go out is to just have fun and not expect anything. I think if you're solely going out just to look for someone to sleep with, that just gives me like an icky vibe. It gives me an icky feeling. Do you guys feel that way too? It just feels like if it wasn't me, it would have been any other girl. And a lot of guys give that vibe. Like you can kind of tell, like they are very assertive. They will hit on anyone. And don't be fooled, girls. You're not special. Like you were just the person closest to them or the person they thought was hottest in the room or the person that they thought was the most available. The most available. And so just think on that, right? Like Adriana Lima said, men will literally fuck a McChicken. So who they sleep with is not flattering. It's not a compliment. It's just a hole, unfortunately, especially when alcohol is involved. So just don't let their validation of you affect your self-worth and your night out with your girls. Now, another like stipulation for finding a place to go out is what kind of music are they playing. You're just not going to have a good time with your friends if you don't know a single song or if it's not the vibe of the group. So my friends and I are always in search of like fun music vibes. You also want the crowd to be like people that are chill, you know, people that get the bonus effect. That's what I'm going to call it. The bonus effect is like when you meet someone and you vibe and you think they're cute and like you hit it off. It's not, you know, a necessity, but if the vibes are there, the vibes are there. And when you're in those kind of environments, you end up actually meeting cool people that are down to just chat and have fun and like get to know each other. It's kind of like more of being like at a music festival vibe than being at some like, you know, afters where people are just looking for their next leg. So at a music festival, you meet people with common interests, you meet people that are doing cool jobs or people that are passionate about the same music as you, and you're all all just part of the same fun experience. And that's what going out can feel like sometimes. So I think just like nurturing that aspect of it, even if you like go out for a cigarette break with your friend who smokes, or maybe you smoke and you're just like meeting other people that are out there and you're just chatting and getting to know each other and vibing. There's been times where my friends and I were bar hopping and you're like going down these busy nightlife streets and, you just bump into groups of people and you chat with them for a minute. And it's all fun and part of the lore and the experience and the allure of going out because you are building memories with your friends. Even if you meet weird people or have bad experiences, you still have moments and stories that you are going to be able to tell for the ages. Now, my favorite point of time to leave a bar or club is probably around, I would say 1:30. 1:30. Like I like to leave before closing. Like I just feel like it's uncouth to stay until the entire place is shut down. Maybe you want to head to an afters like before the place is shut down. That's fine if you're gonna do like an afters kind of night. Like that can be fun too. But I would say my ideal night is to probably not go to an afters. I feel like nothing really good happens after 1:30 a.m. in my experience. You can still have fun, but I mean like long term nothing good happens after 1:30 a.m. You guys go home. And so I definitely like recommend just like popping into an Uber or your streetcar, whatever, order that Uber Eats or stop at whatever place is on the way and get your junk food and go back home by like 1:30, 2 a.m. Put on your favorite podcast or show, binge eat your junk food, take off your makeup, and just like get ready to settle into bed and know that you had a night well spent and you're going to wake up maybe hungover tomorrow, but you'll wake up. Sorry, you guys, I feel like I blacked out a little bit of the video there because it stopped recording the video aspect, but we still have the audio. But you'll just have you in your bed with your dog if you have one, and you might have some leftovers from last night's food run, and you'll just have the memories of the night before, and you can do a FaceTime debrief with all your friends. That's always one of the best parts. Everyone's eyelashes are sticking to their forehead. People are like looking bloated and gassed out. And you're just like complete garbage rats for the Sunday. And you can just, recount the tales of grandiosity that happened the night before and just talk about things. And maybe someone did hook up with someone. Maybe you're like, oh my God, girl, what was it like? It's just so fun to gossip and talk about those things. And it's all part of the experience. And that to me is my perfect night out because I personally am not as into hookup culture. I feel like I've only ever participated in it when I was too drunk and not making decisions that I would make while more sober. And nothing's worse than waking up with a man that you just met the night before in your bed and having to like give him the hint to get out and leave. Just no, not the vibe, not cute. And I rarely ever would be interested in a guy that I met at a bar. Like it's just not the environment, I feel like the chances of meeting someone who's of quality or would lead to something more serious is so slim in that environment because you have to think about the fact that people go to these bars and these clubs looking for promiscuity or looking for a moment of casual encounter. And largely they're going to be doing that again. Like that's the stage of life that they're at. And so if you're like hoping to find like your husband at the club or the bar, I don't think that's the best spot. You're going to find someone who's probably more promiscuous or into casual sex. And so definitely have to be aware of that. And maybe you're into that. Maybe that's the chapter of your life that you're into right now. But just know what you're signing up for and what your expectations are. And then you won't be upset with yourself or having regret the next day, especially if they won't get out of your bed. One of my other favorite parts of going out and like that completes like a good night is having good documentation, whether that's taking fun videos or taking hot photos because you and your friends are all dressed up super hot, just having those memories capsuled and having those Instagram posts and just like being a part of all of that is so fun. And I feel like it's just all part of the experience. Like if no one took the photo, did it even happen? I know that's very like new age conceited social media brain rotted of me, but it's just part and parcel of the truth, you know? Sometimes my best looks never get documented and then I'm like kicking myself in the foot like, damn, that outfit was so cute and no one will ever know. Something else that I loved from some of my favorite nights going out is being able to bar hop or club hop because places get boring, right? And I've had some nights where some of the girls I'm with, they are well connected in the industry, and we've hopped to like 5 different venues. There was one time we started off, I want to say at like Mr. C, which was in the bottom of the Bisha Hotel in Toronto. And then we moved to Miss Cleo. Is that what it's called? Cleo, Miss Cleo. And that was having like a private event, but somehow we got into it. And you guys know what the theme was? It was fucked. The theme was Eyes Wide Shut, which is like kind of a sex cult movie. It was Stanley Kubrick's last film. We go downstairs, we have to take an elevator to this like private area downstairs at the bottom of this club, and everyone's wearing like masquerade masks and like dressing like they're from this cult club from Eyes Wide Shut. There's like beds everywhere that people can lay on. It was like a movie moment, right? Like sometimes you get into these debacles that are like movie moments when you're going out with your friends. It felt like one of those winding long nights. And then we went to a few other clubs like Club 44 and whatever, and like a few other places. And it was just so fun to taste and try each club and each venue and see what was happening. And I don't know, it's just like people watching, seeing different experiences. And especially when you can go to venues that have nice decor and a nice ambience. I don't really like just like those grunge places where like, you know, really like dingy bars and things that just have people looking to hook up. Sometimes those can be fun, depends on your moment and your mood and what you're doing. But I think if you're really looking for a fabulous night out, you definitely need to have a rotation of like more elevated places to kind of peruse through. You want the environment to be decent, you know? Anyways, you guys, that pretty much caps off and concludes my guide to the perfect night out. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast episode. I had so much fun coming up with these ideas for you guys, and I kind of want to do an advice segment in the future. So let me know in the comments below if you're interested in that. It could be like specifically relationship type advice, life advice, anything like that. Because I think we need a few more segments on brain rot, and I just feel like interacting with you guys on that level would be more exciting and more fun. Anyways, happy brain rotting, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Special thanks to Brain Rot producers.